Yahoo, this is not hot jobs at all. This is all banners across Yahoo's network targeted to specific healthcare occupations. The main ones that they target well are physical therapists, pharmacists, and nurses. Google, these are all very targeted campaigns using very specific industry keywords. And then Beyond.com, those are all email campaigns that have produced those resumes. And Career Builder is mostly banner ads and a few email campaigns. And then all of these are some type of banner advertising or email marketing. Some of the niche sites, which are really great in the industry in terms of having a great deal of respect within the healthcare industry, don't actually really perform that well. AACN, very few conversions. Pharmacist.com, NursePath, ENA, AORN, APTA, very low rates of conversions for almost all the campaigns, which isn't to say that they're not places you should ever advertise, just that maybe advertising there is more of a way of partnering with those organizations than really getting resumes in the door. But we've seen a lot with healthcare that the major sources, like Monster, Yahoo, Google, Beyond, and Career Builder, very consistently in the top in terms of number of resumes submitted. Here are actually results from a specific client. I'm not going to tell you who. But you can see that for them, I just wanted you to sort of see this in practice for a specific campaign, because those were all of the campaigns. But in this particular case, Yahoo is the #1 source. Again, those are just banner ads across Yahoo's network. Then Career Builder, Beyond.com, and Google. And then when you look at the cost per conversion, which is cost per resume submitted, basically, it's very out of whack. So AORN, they paid $1,600 for every resume submitted based on the advertising they were doing. Obviously, that's not really great. And that's because, for what, even though some of those sites aren't that expensive, the number of conversions is so low that the return on investment is pretty low. ENA was about $1,100. And then, Beyond.com was in, I think, the $30 range, $40 range for resume. But, it's pretty consistent across the board that we see these types of results. And it's usually pretty shocking. How does the analysis work? This advertising is based on a true story, but isn't necessarily real advertising. Just sort of wanted to show the process. Basically, when the user visits a site and the ad is on the site, it serves a cookie to the user's machine. So we know that that ad's been delivered to the user, and that the ad basically connects to the ad server, where we keep our data. And then the user's computer is updated. Then whether or not they click on that ad, or even if they don't click on that ad and they go to the client's website later, what happens here is they are also cookied. So we know that they've been to the website. And then we know that they submitted an application. So we match up all that data, and we'll be able to tell you the number of people that submitted a resume who clicked on your ad, and the number of people who just saw your ad and went back to your site at a later time to submit a resume. And that's interesting because it shows you a lot of the branding impact of a banner ad or an email marketing campaign. If you just look at who clicks, it's only about half the story. A lot of people are doing something when they see your advertising, or they're busy, or they're in the middle of their day, and they can't take the time to respond. But they've gotten a message, and they'll come back later. And if you don't track it, you don't really know how much it is, but it's usually about 50 to 60% of the resumes submitted from a campaign are from people who saw the ad but didn't click on it and just went to your site later. That's another reason why it's really important to put your URL on your banner ad. Some other cool things that doing this type of tracking allow you to do are ad sequencing. You can actually control the order in which people see your banner ads. Sorry, I think it's my hair. It's really loud. You can control when they see your ads. So you could serve them one message, and then another message, and then another message, sort of build the messages that they're seeing. Another thing you can do is your own behavior targeting, which is kind of interesting because you can target different ads to people who have taken different actions on your website. So if they visited your diversity page, you could serve them a different ad because you know that they're interested in diversity. If they've already submitted an application at some point, you could serve them a different ad that says basically, a different message than, hey, have you ever heard about us? Why don't you click on our ad? It could be a different message. You know that they've already taken an action on your site. Auto optimization. That's a cool feature which allows us to, if you run 3 different banner ads, our system actually will start to serve the one that's performing the best, the most, so that you get the most clicks or the most conversions, depending on how we set it, for your buy. And then reach and frequency. We can also tell you in our reporting how many unique people see your ads, as opposed to just how many people saw them, so that you know really how many times a person is seeing your ad on average, so that some sites, if you look at the data, you'll see that they're basically serving your ad like 50 times to the same person. Or on some sites, you'll see that you're only getting an average of 2 for the frequency, which means you're basically reaching 50% unique people. Type of data that we look at and we recommend looking at are, of course, clicks, impressions, the number of times your ads are viewed, your click-through rate, post-click impressions, which is basically those impressions those conversions that occur when somebody sees your ad but doesn't click on it. Conversions, cost per click, cost per conversion, unique ad views. The performance by frequency is interesting because it tells you what the optimal frequency is for your ad. So it tells you when your click-through rate is the highest, when they see it 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. So it gives you an idea of how much inventory you should buy in the future. And Rich Media has a whole set of metrics as well. The data that we provide is available by the site, by the placement, by the creative unit that you run, by different campaigns. You can even set up, if you have different divisions of your company, you can set everybody up as a separate advertiser and look at their information separately. And in terms of what can be tracked, with our system and pretty much all systems, all your standard ads, flash ads, rich media, text, HTML, video, in-game advertising, everything can be tracked through these systems so that you get sort of one consolidated report. And that's it. Any questions?